Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to update the previous code that I've did in the C++ Series 1 tutorial. This is the code that we have written before for the bank application. So for this tutorial, what I'm going to do, I'm going to update this code and make it a little bit more structured. So I'm going to build this program again and run it. This is the program that we have built in the previous video. So what this program is doing, it's asking the user to enter their name, and it print back out the name that the user have entered. And it also asks to choose whatever action that you want to do in your account. So you have three options that you can do in your account for now. So you can either check your balance, make a deposit, or make a withdrawal. Now, if I go ahead and say check balance and I hit enter, because the number one option is to check balance. So I'm going to hit enter and it's going to ask me which account do I want to check the balance for. Do I want to check it for the check-ins or the savings? I'm going to check it for the check-ins account. And it tells me the balance in my check-ins is $200, which is right here. The checking account, we assign $200 to this variable. Now when I hit enter, the program ended, right? So for this application, we don't want the program to end. We want the program to keep on going until the user decide to end the program themselves. So what we want to do, we want to create some type of loop so the application keeps going until the user enters or press a specific key. In C++, there are three different loops or three different types of loops you can use. There are while loop, do while loop, and for loops. Now when it comes to loops, you have to know when to use the while loop and when to use the for loop. For example, if you want something to print 10 times on the screen, it's better to use a for loop. But in our situation, we want the loop to keep on going until the user decide to end it. So instead of using a for loop, we are going to use a while loop. Now if you don't know what a for loop is, don't worry. As the series progresses, I'm going to introduce all of that to you guys. So for now, for our application, we're going to use a while loop. We can say while true. So while true just means while the program is still up and running, keep on executing what's inside of the loop. We want to put a open and closing curly braces or an open and closing curly bracket. You have to be very careful where you put the ending bracket for the while loop. So this is our opening bracket, and we want to go all the way down at the bottom right before the return statement, and we want to put the closing bracket for the while loop. So the while loop is going to be the last closing curly brackets just above the return statement. So this is the first change that we want to make in our program. The next thing we're going to add some type of condition. Let's say, for example, if the user enters 0 on the keyboard, we want the program to stop. So right under line 23, we're going to write an if statement. So we're going to say if the option equals to 0, then we want to end the program. And to end the program in C++, you just write the keyword break. So we're going to say break, and we're going to add our semicolon. So now let's go ahead and build, make sure we have no errors in our code. I'm going to go ahead and enter my name, and now we have the name printed back to us. Now I'm going to enter what I want to do in the account. So I want to check the balance, and then I want to check the balance for the check-ins account. And now you see that it shows me the balance in my checking account, and then it went back to asking me, welcome, please enter the name. So we're going to move the while loop from the top and bring it just right above where they ask to choose one of the following option, because we don't want to keep on entering our name over and over. Let's build and run again. So let's go ahead and enter the name, and we want to check the account balance. We want to check the check-ins account. It displays the check-ins account balance, and it went back to ask us what other option we want to perform. So let's go back again and check the account, and this time we want to check what's in the savings account, and it shows us what's in our savings account. Now if I go back down here and I go on top, scroll on top, you would see what's in the check-ins and what's in the savings account. Now we can go ahead and enter 0, and when I enter 0, the program now should stop instead of going through the loop. So that is good. That is what we want. How about when we end the program, or when we enter 0 for our option and the program stops, it gives us a thank you message for using our software. So right above the break statement, let's put a cout statement or a print statement to say thank you for banking with us today. Let's go ahead and build our application and let's run it. So we're going to enter the name, and we want to check balance, and we're going to check our check-ins account balance. Now this time we want to end the program, so we're going to enter 0, and it gives the message thank you for banking with us today. So we are on the right path with updating our ATM software. Let me go back to the while loop. Sometimes you will just see while by itself, and you will see while true or while some type of condition is inside here. What I like doing, or what I prefer doing, I would declare a Boolean variable. So I'll say bool, and I'm going to call my variable condition. And I'm going to initialize my condition variable to false. So I can come inside of this while loop, and I'm going to say while condition, so which is this condition is here. So while condition is true. So right now condition is false. Sometimes you would see developers use the exclamation mark in front of the variable, and that means not. So the exclamation mark will flip or change the condition or change the Boolean expression to the opposite expression. So right now condition holds the value false. So right now we want condition to be true. So you can say while not condition. So that makes the statement true. So if I go ahead and I run this, I'm going to enter my name. So I'm going to say Nikki. And then the option now, I'm going to check my account balance. Then I'm going to check my check-ins account balance, and I get the same results. Watch what will happen if I go back and I change this. I remove the exclamation mark. So I'm going to go ahead and build, and I'm going to run the application. So I'm going to enter my name, and you see the program ended because the condition is false. Now you can also use the do while loop. So instead of saying while, you can say do, and in the bottom you add your while loop. So you can say do this while true, right? So basically what this is saying, execute this code at least once and then check the condition. So that's the difference between the while loop and the do while loop. The do while loop will execute your program at least once, and then it will check the condition. The while loop will check the condition first, and then it will execute the program. In our situation, we want this to run at least once, and then we want to check the condition and have it run again. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to build a solution, and then I'm going to run the program. So I'm going to enter my name, and now I want to check my account balance, and I want to check the balance in the check-ins account. And now we get the next option, what we want to do. So in our position or in our situation, as I said before, it's best to use the do while loop. The third thing that we want to change to update our application, we want to check the withdraw option. Let's say, for example, in our check-ins account, we have $200, And in our savings account, we have $23. Let's say, for example, the user wants to withdraw $250 from their check-ins account. We have to put some type of condition to stop them from withdrawing. We want to print a message to say you have insufficient fund. You have to enter something a little bit lower. So what we're going to do, we're going to come down to option number 3. So the if statement, if the user enter option number 3, which is withdraw, we're going to use a do while loop for that. So we're going to say do, and right at the bottom, we're going to end of our loop. So right at the end of the do statement, that's where we're going to write our while loop. So we're going to say while, and the logic we're going to put in the while loop will be a little bit different from the logic we put at the ending of our while loop. The condition that we're going to put inside of this while loop will be if the amount that the user have inputted at line 85, if this amount is greater than what's currently in their check-ins account, we want to print a message and let them know they have insufficient fund to make the withdrawal. So in our while loop, we're going to say while the amount is greater than what's in the check-ins account. Now inside of the do statement, we're going to add some messages to the screen. I'm going to give a cout statement. So I'm going to say insufficient funds, enter a lower amount. I'm also going to give a \n there as well, and I want to end the line. Now if I run this code, this line is going to be executed as well inside of the while loop. So instead of having to do any type of calculations inside of the while loop and printing the statement, what we're going to do, we're going to copy this 2 lines, we're going to delete it from inside of the loop, and we're going to paste it outside of the do while loop. So let's go ahead and build our program, and I'm going to run it. I'm going to enter my name. First, let's check what's in the check-ins account, and we have 200, so we want to make a withdraw. So let's choose option 3 this time. We want to withdraw from the check-ins account, and we're going to put something greater than 200. So this time we're going to put 210. We should get the message insufficient fund, enter a lower amount. Okay, so the loop went back and asked us to enter a lower amount before it gives us what's in the check-ins account. So this time, let's put something lower than 200. Now it say your updated balance in your checking account is $50. So it did not do any type of calculation for us until we entered something that is less than what's in the current account right now. So our application is going good. I'm going to enter 0 to exit. So how about we update this option for number 4? Let's give 0 to exit, right? Let's put this in our menu. So let's go back, and in our menu, let's add 0 to exit. So let's see how it looks right now. So I'm going to go ahead, build our program, and I'm going to run it, and I'm going to enter my name, and we have our menu as how we want it. So 0 to exit. So now I'm going to enter 0, and thank you for banking with us today. Okay, so we're making progress with our application. Maybe what we want to do as well, we want to perform some type of calculations in the savings account as well. We're going to use the same logic that we used for the check-ins account, but also we want to charge them a fee if they withdraw from the savings account. So we're going to charge them 13%, or we're going to charge them tax if they withdraw anything from their savings account, because the whole point of a savings account is to save your money. So if you remove anything from the savings, you are going to get taxed on it, right? So let's update the savings account option. So what we want to do, we want to create a loop as well. So we're going to say do, and we're going to move the closing brackets for the do statement right at the bottom here, and we want our while loop. We don't want while true. We want to check our own condition. The condition for the while loop is going to be the same thing for the savings account. So we're going to say while amount is greater than what's in the savings account. We want this to happen. So we're going to remove the calculation and the cout statement outside of the do while loop. And then we want to add the cout statement. So we're going to copy the cout statement and we're going to add it right at the bottom here. So for a savings account, instead of addition, we're going to do subtraction because we are withdrawing. So let's put a \n here as well for readability. And let's build our application and run it. So let's enter the name. Let's check the balance for the savings account. So now we want to make a withdraw, and we're going to withdraw from the savings account. The savings account now have $23. So we're going to withdraw $20. And now our update says your new balance is $3. So let's go back and put this statement on a new line. So right after savings, let's do an end line. As I said before, we want to charge them some type of tax if they withdraw money from the savings account. Now in C++, there is something called a constant. So in the top of our program, we are going to declare a const variable. And to declare a constant variable in C++, you use the const keyword. A constant is a variable whose value cannot change. You cannot change the value of a constant variable. We're going to declare a constant as a double, and we're going to call our variable tax. Now we're going to initialize or assign the tax variable to 13%. So 13% will be 0.13. You cannot use the percentage symbol in C++. The percentage symbol means the remainder. It's called modular, means the remainder of. So for example, 10 divided by 6 does not go into whole numbers. It will leave a remainder. So let's go back down to the withdraw logic and let's do some calculation. We are going to declare another variable, and we're going to call this variable save_total, and we're going to initialize this variable or assign this variable to the total in the savings account when the tax has been deducted. We want what's in the savings account minus the taxes. So to do this calculation, we're going to use the savings account again, and we're going to minus the taxes from it. So instead of printing the savings account, we are going to print save_total, and this should give us the total now in our savings account minus the taxes. Let's go ahead and build our solution and let us run it. So I'm going to enter my name, and I want to check the balance in the savings account, and you can see my balance in the savings account is 23. So let's go ahead and withdraw $5 from our savings account, and now it shows us that our updated balance is $15.66. Now let's go back in the program. Let's put $250 in our savings account. Let's run this again. So let's build our application and run it. So I'm going to enter my name. I'm going to enter 1, and I want to check the balance in my savings account. It should be $250 now. So now I want to withdraw, and I want to withdraw from the savings account, and I want to withdraw $50. So now when I withdraw $50, I'm going to end up with 200. And with the code that I just wrote, it should take 13% of 200 after the withdrawal, and that will give us 174. So we can still go further. The next series, I'm going to introduce encapsulation, where we're going to hide all of this. We're going to create header files and remove all of this from the main function and put them in classes. So some of this code can go into functions. So that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next tutorial.